All right, folks. So some questions I had this week is looking at effectively where in the point of range of motion is the muscle going to be the strongest. Now, what we're talking about initially in exercise physiology is just the length of the resting muscle. So the resting muscle, when it's at its normal resting length, usually that's where you have the best amount of cross bridging between actin and myosin. So you're going to be able to produce the greatest amount of force. Now, that's just the muscle itself. That's not then incorporating the biomechanics of the angle of the joint, the point of attachment, and then the load, obviously, it's having to overcome. So typically for most muscles, like for example with the arm, when the elbow's at 90 degrees, that's where you have the best cross bridging of myosin on that actin that's going to pull it along. When we're in a more lengthened position, now we barely are going to have any of the myosin and actin heads being able to touch one another, and we're in the shortened position. That's when we're going to be getting those myosin heads butting up against the end of the actin, and we're having that overlap, so we're not going to be able to produce as much force. Now, that's just the muscle by itself. That's not then looking at the effects, once again, that our biomechanics and our leverages are going to influence. Then the next question that I have, which is about protein. So differences between whey and soy and all the other different options you have. Gosh, they have hemp, they have cricket, they have beef, they've got chicken bone broth. There's so many different options. Now, as far as your goal for using any type of protein supplement or just looking at protein in your diet, think of it as in orders of magnitude. So the biggest effect is just going to be getting in enough protein in general. From there, the next effect is probably making sure that we're getting it in a number of boluses throughout the day. So we're not just trying to do just all the protein in one meal, but evenly spacing it. Then we go down to, you can look at the source of the protein. So make sure it's complete protein, something that's more easily digested, and then making sure that, like anything else, it agrees with the individual. And then finally, we're getting down into little things like the difference between whey protein concentrate to isolate to hydrolysate. Hydrolysate is going to be the one that digests the most rapidly, so arguably it's the best to utilize post-workout in order to help with quick recovery from the damage that you've induced from that training. Whereas if you then go ahead and utilize something like casein, which is another fraction of milk protein, but much more slowly digesting, taking that in before you go to bed, in theory, is going to help with increasing muscle synthesis and maintaining it over the hours while you're asleep. So like anything else, there's nothing wrong with going more high tier with your protein quality or your supplementation, but focus on the biggest effect. And the biggest effect is just getting in enough protein throughout the day and then dividing it up evenly with a number of meals. And I believe from the Schoenfeld review, we're looking at about 4 of them over the course of the day. So thank you guys for asking the questions, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye-bye.